FAM is already found with being guilty.
It is something that should not be repeated.
It becomes really a national scandal.
They don't want to see Malaysia being banned from football completely.
17 state election. What should it be for parties and the candidates?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines, the show where we unpack stories shaping Malaysia from politics to sports and everything in between. I'm Elena Koshi.
And I'm Amalina Kamal, making sure that you, including Elena, don't get lost in the details. Because why, Elena?
Absolutely. It seems like today's topics, it's really challenging. Even for me, it's like stepping into a maze and not knowing what's going to pop out at every corner. It's an amazing, interesting, nail-biting roller coaster. And we are starting off with Sabah state elections, which as usual come with the coalition twist and debates about governance.
And because if Sabah politics were an actual football game, it'll be a match with a nail-biter experience with extra time and penalties. And speaking of football, Lena, later in the show, we're going to again talk about Malaysian football and how the recent FIFA tell-all has actually cast a very damning sort of spotlight on FAM. Now, truly, what does it say about the country's governance, not just in football, but also politics, right?
Listen, we have something for everyone today, right? Whether you're a political junkie, a football fan, or somebody like me who likes a lot of drama, you're in for a show because we've got incredible guests today. So let's kick off.
We talk about Sabah's elections is just around the corner. Of course, we know this. But if history is any guide, we know that this is going to be interesting, to say the least.
Interesting maybe is an interesting word, but I would call it chaotic because, coalitions shifting like sand, party hopping, alliances forming just when you thought you'd see no more surprises. Something will come and surprise you along the way.
Right.
But that's politics, right?
Yeah, that's politics. And I actually do question if voters are left, wondering who they're going to vote, which coalition is going to hold post-election, and who is actually going to last. Because, for instance, it's enough to give me a headache, let alone the actual voters who will be going out on polling day, right?
I mean, let's not talk about voter fatigue, but we also cannot forget, our younger voters, those who are voting for the first time, even social media warriors and warriors both. They're online mobilizing, debating, worrying, I guess, sometimes even more intensely than the politicians
themselves. I do agree. And it's a great point because Sabah isn't just about local parties versus national coalitions. It's actually about national identity, local issues, and a state that's always had its own political flavor. And of course, to help us make sense of it all, we've got an earlier interview with Associate Professor Dr. Syahruddin Awang Ahmad, who is the researcher at Borneo Politics and Electoral Studies, GeoPES. Now here's him giving us the key dynamics and voter sentiments. Let's have a look. How do you think the constant shifts in alliance actually influence political stability today? And what should actually voters realistically rely on and expect once the election ends?
Now, Sabah facing a lot of unprecedented events, uncalled, weird events for me in politics.
What does that entail?
We cannot expect anything like before. The enemy become partners. And then partners split. And then nobody expect that two candidates from GRS, Jamawi Jafar and Josh Yu, GRS senior leaders GRS senior leaders become PKR candidates in Malalap and Karamanting. Who knows? Who expect that?
So it's not necessarily about parties.
Yes. The calon or the candidate himself or herself should be able to portray themselves as representative of their people. In any constituencies, they represent those people. The party, not only local but also national, should also represent themselves as the fighter for the people. Last time we saw that national and local party champion people for every issues, for everything related to pembangunan or development in Sabah in the Barisan Nasionals era up to 2018 general election, 14 general election, and now 17 state election. What should it be for parties and the candidates? People in the ground, they voice their opinion physically via ballot paper. Social media just to amplify what they feel, what they try to show their feeling. You know, the issues related to Zara Kairina lately, maybe it's not that strong, just like 3 months ago. And then infrastructure, water across road across state of Sabah, and then electricity. Also, how the party choose the candidates. All these mechanism, all these items should be point to ponder, not only by the parties, but also by members of the society.
Issues such as like resource control, infrastructure funding, even administrative devolution is actually part and parcel of why people want to go out and vote. But from your observation, are there any other issues that are likely to be the strongest drivers of voter sentiment this particular cycle?
They're desperate for true leaders. Among their lineup of choices of leaders, existing leaders or the new faces who will contest the 17 state elections. They ask for, we will call it the most transparent people who can lead them. The people, the individual who not there to take money or involved in bribery. That's all what they want. And then the youngsters, what do they want? They want job opportunities, the realistic job opportunities. Almost 250,000 of Sabahan settling and working in JB, Penang, and Selangor. How many of them? So many.
The issue of undocumented migration and statelessness communities, especially in Sabah, is something very pressing as well. So how do you think parties should actually frame this without escalating tensions? What are some of the realistic policies that should be taken into consideration to address the humanitarian dimensions here?
It is not only Sabah State's issue. When we talk about undocumented people or a group of people in the community, it is a national issue. It's not our current government responsibility to answer how to solve this problem. It is the past government issues also.
Sabah voters actually want to believe in the system. But do you think this sort of belief will translate in the turnout, the voting turnout? Or do you still see people who are still on the fence?
Still, to foresee the percentage of turnout for 29 November, the voting day, we use forensic data from 2020 16th state election. Almost 70% turnout for 16 state election. Now we are looking for the 55% of young voters to turn out, not only for to show their feelings about the state government, but to show that the youngsters have their voice for the state.
55% young voters is not including, I mean, to be fair, it's just 55% among the young voters, right? But the collective voters?
Collective vote 1.78 million. 1.78 million. 70 to 80% is okay.
Do you think we're able to reach that? I mean, when it comes to the coming election?
Hard to say that. To figure out what the drive, what the motivation that will drive the vibes for them to vote on that day.
No, Lena, every time Sabah politics is at play, I feel like I need to come up with a flow chart or at least have some sort of like a whiteboard to map things out.
Maybe a stress ball or two.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, not just one, but two, right?
But, Dr. Shah really laid it out very clearly. The alliances, voter sentiments, of course, the undercurrents and the overcurrents as well.
Indeed, because three key things that were identified: identity, livelihood, governance, all wrapped up in one state elections. All this will be a key concern. And with that, to our audience, if you do want to know more about the Sabah elections or anything relating to Sabah, do follow us on NSC Online because we will be delivering that to you. And of course, with that, do not go anywhere. We'll be back with our second segment. Welcome back, everybody. Now we zero in on the world of sports, particularly on FIFA's sanctions and the Football Association of Malaysia's reactions towards it.
Well, FIFA has claimed that FAM failed to take concrete remedial action. They didn't identify those responsible for document falsification, imposed no internal sanctions, and did not initiate structural reforms. So many did not. But today, joining us first to discuss is NST sports reporter Farah Azharie.
Hello. Welcome.
And sports lawyer Syed Aiman, Syed Abdul Hamid.
Pleasure.
So welcome, guys.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show.
It's great to have the both of you here because, of course, this particular discussion is just a spillover from what we had last week. Indeed,
yes,
isn't it, Elena? We had a brief discussion, not necessarily brief lah.
Wasn't brief,
but we had a very deep dive into how the trajectory of national football should be or where it's heading, and the discussion centered on player development. But on this particular segment, we want to really talk about the litigation aspect of where FIFA is heading, especially in fighting against FAM here, right? We want to start big, of course. Farah, when we look at the drama surrounding FIFA's hammering on FAM here, it is continuous. What does that actually entail to us, and how does it affect us, especially when we look at tournaments such as the qualifying of the World Cup and the ASEAN Cup itself?
First and foremost, I'm pretty sure you guys have all read the 64-page FIFA documents. I think it was quite extensive. There was certain things that apparently was taken out of context and such. But at the end of the day, what we are is basically an embarrassment.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but that just has to be said because media all over the world is extensively covering this. And it's not like they haven't been coming after us before this. They have. So now it just makes it worse. It just adds on to things. And then furthermore, it involves like, it's not just Malaysia. It's like Argentina, there's Spain, there's Brazil, because this is where all these players come from.
As well.
Netherlands, there you go. So, yeah. And then how you're asking me like how it affects our campaign, right? In the World Cup and the Asian Cup. Well, technically we're not playing in the World Cup right now.
The qualifying, or at least the dream to qualify for the World Cup.
Okay, so the dream, I think for World Cup, it's still a bit far-fetched for us. But realistically, like for the Asian Cup, we were doing very, very well. Right now, all we can do is just like say, oh yeah, we're at the top of Group F at the moment. We're going to qualify to 2027. And we have to keep this kind of attitude up because we don't know what the final outcome will be. So all we can do right now is just to remain positive. But what it can do is that there's been chatter. We could just be eliminated from the 2027 Asian Cup. Furthermore, if it is found that we did something completely wrong, like really, really wrong, we could also be exempt from the 2031 edition.
That's the most immediate sort of like platform that we're aiming at the moment, right?
Correct. Because right now, I think everyone's main concern is that they don't want to see Malaysia being banned from football completely.
That's what fans hoped. Or
I think everyone hopes that. I hope that
Everybody
as well.
hopes that. I mean, every Malaysian who's been, most of us are quite supportive of the national football team. So I think this comes as a huge disappointment.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, as the news roll by, it's literally like a whodunit.
Yes.
Who's responsible?
Yep.
And FIFA says that FAM failed to identify those responsible and, of course, didn't take internal action. From your reporting, would real reforms right now at this juncture make any difference? What should they even look like? Aside from, the usual independent committee looking into things.
Basically, what's going on now is that, as you mentioned before, independent committees and such, and you asked me just now, at this particular juncture, would it make a difference? To be honest with you, no. We've gotten a bit far ahead that, there's not much that we can do right now. It's just the appeals and the Court of Arbitration of Sport, as Syed will tell you later on. And then there's nothing more that we can do unless all of a sudden FAM just decides to, okay, let's go into this, let's dive into this. Okay, this person resign, who knows, right? So right now, yeah, like FIFA said, who's accountable for it? Because I think they mentioned a couple of times inside there that still remains nameless. So who is this person?
Right.
We still need to know because, they pointed out the Secretary General. They pointed out 2 FIFA agents. But there was one paragraph that says unnamed, right? So who is it? So just tell us who it is.
John Doe or Jane Doe, not sure.
Or John Doe.
But okay, yes, we do go. I mean, now we go to Syed because legally speaking, right, with the whole tell-all, first of all, I just want to know how would that affect the case or the appeal? Because normally when you reveal investigative reports like that so blatantly, it would affect certain court proceedings, right? But in this particular appeal that's going to happen at CAS, would that actually help FIFA's case or would that actually help FAM's case?
I think the reason why it was included in the motivated decision pertaining the naming of the Secretary General, and the FIFA agents, it's for the purpose to initiate another investigation.
Okay.
That's the purpose of naming such names. And in fact, in the later parts of the decision, the FIFA disciplinary committee had asked that the secretariat inform authorities in Argentina and Brazil to inform pertaining the forgery or the falsification of documents. So that's the purpose of including such names. But if going back to the question whether it will affect other proceedings, well, the only proceeding right now is CAS, is Court of Arbitration of Sports, which is based in Lausanne, Switzerland. So we'll see what goes on there. We cannot speculate. Well, we may have a rough idea of what they are going to say there, but will it affect? I think it's a bit premature to say that.
I see. Okay, because it exists on a different sort of like wavelength in a sense, is it?
It's an appeal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, my second question would probably be like, what does actually FIFA expect from other members association, other MAs from this particular drama against FAM? Like, y'all should be able to, take some notes because probably there are other, we don't know, allegedly associations who are, doing, slipping through the cracks as well, having to.
Because this is not the first time it has happened because, other countries, Timor-Leste, for example. But somehow when you look at it now, this is such a huge thing here. So it makes me wonder, like, Is
it a bigger part of something?
Is it a bigger issue now? Because it's not the first time it has happened, right? So looking at past precedents and now looking at this, what's transpiring here and, the suspense around.
Yeah, so what do you think FIFA is expecting its MAs to act or react to it?
I mean, if the point is to take some notes, probably Malaysia should have taken some notes previously.
Okay.
But moving forward, it is a lesson. It is something that should not be repeated. It is shameful. It is shameful that this has happened. But again, premature. CAS, we'll see what happens.
I mean, the football landscape itself, Elena, or at least to our guests, right? If it's not turbulent, then it's not fun. But not turbulent in such a way, right?
I mean, not turbulent to the point of this lah. I mean, this embarrassment. I mean, turbulence, yeah lah. We'll win a few games, lose a few games, you know.
Yeah. All for the game, for the match itself, zeroing on actually.
Yeah, but you know, this is involving nationality and home, you know, security and things like that. So it becomes really a national scandal.
Right. But the current issue right now, correct me if I'm wrong, it's fixable. Or at least what FAM is currently taking on by appealing to CAS, that's actually their right? So we want to understand that as well. Like, so FAM's appeal to CAS, a lot of people are saying it's an uphill battle. Because, of course, we know the investigative report have a very detailed sort of like breakdown of what went wrong. But what are the procedural hurdles that you actually look at as the uphill battle?
The way I see it through the motivated decision, there are actually two camps. Number one, FAM, and number two, the players themselves. So, well, with respect to FAM, it does not look good for them. The battle is actually a losing battle, if I may say, because there is an ambition over there pertaining the forgery, pertaining the falsification of documents. So, with respect to FAM, I say it looks bleak. But for the players, I see it as a battle worth fighting for.
Okay.
Wherein, at the end of the day, they are Malaysians and they have played their heart out. And I repeat, what is wrong is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. But moving forward to CAS, it is to ensure that they have some chance for their career. That is all for the players that I may say.
Farah, what has FAM actually done while waiting for this particular verdict with CAS, right? How are they appearing to the media? Or are they like just keeping a tight sort of like circle at the moment, very tight lip as well?
As of now, I think they just released that one, 3-4 paragraph statement following the motivated decision the other day, and that was it.
So it's literally still like a barrier in terms of, okay, we're just going to just release a statement and say where we stand.
I mean, even before that, it was difficult for me to contact them.
Okay.
Because every single time I try to, there's always some sort of excuses that comes up, or they just generally can't talk to the press or anything as such. But I think I'm getting the bigger picture as to why they've decided not to do that. Because if you looked at the motivated decision, there was actually a number of things that FIFA used inside there that was based on media reports and what they have been saying in the past as well. So it's kind of like you're using the power of the media and their words against them inside this.
So, okay. So
is there a typical timeline before CS delivers a decision?
I mean, AFC expects a decision before the draw for the Asian Cup 2027. So it must be before that. And there are instances where cases has been heard on an urgent basis. So I would assume that this is one of those situations that warrants such urgent hearings.
Well, how urgent can it be? I mean, are we going to like hear anything as of this year? Because we only have like, a month or so to go. So
we'll have to see when CAS comes out with the hearing dates or when submissions have to be produced. So that is on FAM right now.
FAM actually insists that the falsification happened without the players' or officials' knowledge. So in CAS's cases, like how much does this lack of intent actually matter?
It does not. It does not matter because under Article 22 of the FDC and preceding cases, mens rea or intent to forge such documents are irrelevant. It's a strict liability case wherein it's like langgar lampu merah. It's a fact. You have just or you have just gone jaywalking, things like that. So it's done. You don't have the passport. You don't have the documents. You don't have it. That's about it.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, you can't have to throw out reasoning of like sorry for being ignorant. I mean, you should be able to know what you sign up for.
Because you had that saying, right? What was it? Ignorance does not
Equate to bliss.
does not equate to.
Ignorance of the law is not a defense.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
And if actually FAM appeals this, what does that mean for Malaysia? I mean, what the appeal actually went through and we win. I mean, we FAM, for the sake of the Malaysia, for the sake of bola sepak negara.
Yeah.
If it fails, what does that mean? Yeah lah.
If it fails, macam
Again,
mana? If it wins, macam mana?
I too use the collective term we, because at the end of the day, we Malaysians are the primary, or the supporters are the primary stakeholders of the Malaysian national football team. We scream, we shout for them. But going back to your question, what happens is, as you can see, that the motivated decision had given us a rundown of what actually happened pertaining the forgery on multiple levels, ministry, FAM. So that's what is going to happen as well in CAS. But I see it this way. What we have right now is totally wrong. Totally wrong in the sense that it shows us the faults, the flaws that have happened. So moving forward, the ministry, or rather FAM themselves, would see, okay, let's get rid of this culture. Let's get rid of this virus or disease. And then CAS, what would CAS say? Well, it's a bit premature for me to give any decision or anything, but I am sure the decision that will come out of CAS will be the same in the sense that it will show us what had actually transpired, what should have been avoided. That is the effect of CAS decision and this motivated decision.
I mean, to be fair, I think nobody underestimates the kind of legal implication if, let's say, this appeal is rejected. I mean, to be fair, we already found, FAM is already found with being guilty of forging documents. That's that, right? So the next step is actually to conduct sort of like a rehaul or like a revamp of your internal governance here. Yes. And then the other aspect to it is that player eligibility is also being looked at. To what extent are we actually utilizing the naturalization aspect as a means to put us at the front? Maybe we get Farah's opinion on that as well, and then we get to say it again. Do you think we should be moving away from having relying on foreign players or naturalized players too much? We asked this question.
The reliance of naturalized players at this point in time is our short-term goal. It is our short-term goal because we have places where we want to be. We want to be in the Asian Cup, and we want to be there consistently. And to say, there's always a heavy reliance on this is an ongoing argument kind of thing with the sports critics and even the former legends and all that who they strongly disagree with the fact that we use naturalized players. But if we do not at this point in time and we follow everyone else's trend, we're not going to get far.
Okay.
But why don't we just do that for now and then easily just wean it off for a bit and then we start stabilizing? Because, if anything that this has taught us is a lot of people will be scared to naturalize players, but we have talents who have served 5 years in the country who are just waiting to be naturalized, and they're very, very good players like Manuel Hidalgo, we have Bergson da Silva, we have Giancarlo Gallifuoco and all that. They are waiting to be naturalized, and I feel like it's such a waste if we kind of just put an end to it right now because these guys have given everything. They've served 5 years here in the country. They've played in our league. They've adapted to life in Malaysia. They have kids that go to school here, that kind of stuff. So it's a shame, for me personally.
Speaking of naturalized players, Singapore had 2 naturalized players and they qualified for the Asian Cup on merit, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
So, the usage of naturalized players is not something new or something that other countries don't use.
No, it's definitely not
maybe
new.
it's our over-dependence because the whole team is comprise naturalized players at one point that they were most of them were naturalized players, right? I mean, I think the majority of them playing were all foreign players.
You talk about the Malaysian national team?
Yes.
Well, the Malaysian national team, the existing ones that we have right now, like Lavia Corbin Ong, Matthew Davis, we have your like Stuart Wilkins and all that, they have mixed parentage. They are actually Malaysians. Like they have moms who are like Chinese Malaysian, but their dad is like born in London or something like that. But I mean, yeah, like you have to put aside that their circumstances is different from these 7 players.
Okay, so when we separate these two, right, do you still think that there should be more push to have, bring up homegrown talents? When I say homegrown talents, it's like Malaysian.
That's always the case. We always want to see like our grassroots getting somewhere, someone doing good and all. That's why we keep having conversations about the National Football Development Program, our Mokhtar Dahari Academy and such. And we're like, okay, why isn't it producing anything? So that in itself is a question for MSN, FAM. Because currently NFDP is under MSN. I mean the National Sports Council, NSC. So basically, that is a question for them. How come in the last 10 to 11 years or so, whatever, it has not produced anyone? To which people claim that Arif Aiman is from there. He's not. Arif Aiman was there. He was dropped. And then he went to JDT Academy. That's it. And we have people like Harif Haikash, Sheikh Isan, right?
Sheikh Isan.
Yeah, Sheikh Isan Nazril. And all that. Yeah, they're doing well. But, Arif Aiman is one of a kind. So you have to look into that. And then who's responsible for grassroots actually is state FAs. But why are they not doing it?
But because like we don't have like a standardized sort of like state vision when it comes to having to develop even not just football but like sports in general. We probably have individual or like curated sort of like objectives, but it's never standardized. Or we have a goal, but you don't necessarily see the details being forged to the front.
I mean, I think one of the discussions that we had previously was there were not enough leagues for the younger players.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Not enough leagues for them to aspire to, or for them to train under. You don't have the under 14, under 17. You have
the 12 is actually more important
you have the
as well.
President Cup and you have the Pingat
Youth
Belia, the Youth Cup, but that's generally it.
Yep.
So I think that was something that was raised, that we don't have enough programs for the.
Let's just say that we don't have a proper structure in place. One.
Yeah.
Continue with whatever that word is.
Continuity.
Thank you. There you go. So that we don't have as well.
Or the passing of baton lah.
We don't have legacy. A strong ecosystem. Like there's no direct pathway or clear pathway for our youth. Because, for example, if they go from the academy, where do they go next? What happens to them next?
Yes.
Where do they play next? And then afterwards, to bridge that gap between like, say something like the Youth President Cup with the A5 semi-pro league. That's a big gap. So how do you do that? How do you bridge that gap? And then right now, like consistently every single year we have the World Cup under 17 qualifiers. Every year we get the opportunity to try to qualify for the World Cup. Why aren't we doing it? How come we're failing?
Something to ponder on as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with grassroots and how there should be some continuity.
Yeah, I want to get Syed's take on this. I mean, apart from you being a sports lawyer and all, like you're a football fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you yourself play football?
Yes, I do. I play football for the Malaysian Bar. And we had recently succeeded against Singapore in Malacca.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm a football fan first, and then a sports lawyer second, or, it's interchangeable depending on who's the one who's asking. But I would say, football fan number one.
But don't you think it's sad to see that whatever it is in Malaysia, the love for football is equated or at least just simplified to it just being a hobby? If it's taken seriously, then you have this sort of administrative issue being, blanketing the trajectory or at least the performance of our athletes.
I would disagree that it's merely a hobby. it's the ecosystem itself that does not allow players with talent at the grassroots level and the amateur level to go further, because we have this problem of which there is no incentive for companies, for corporations, for individuals,
To
even
sponsor, you mean?
with wealth to sponsor
Okay.
or to fund teams. So the average income of a professional, or rather a regular person, is what, 2.3, 2.5 these days. To survive in Kuala Lumpur, you need more. But these amateur players, they are barely making such sum. So it is definitely not a motivation to pursue such career. Although everyone, I'm sure everyone in their youth, especially boys, maybe girls these days, because it's such a wonderful scene to see, wishes to be a professional football player. But whether it is realistic monetarily, I don't think so. Not right now.
Because at the end of the day, that actually does matter in terms of like your safety net, right? Like how are you going to create a good livelihood out of it? If you're going to turn your passion into something that you are going to be working on a daily lah. Okay, I mean, it's great to get like both of your opinions on this. But when we go back into the scandal that we are currently facing right now, FIFA also wants to look into a separate investigation, especially the utilization of ineligible players here. Syed, are you able to like explain to us a little bit about what this entails and why is it so important?
Ineligible players, meaning this
For friendlies.
For friendlies, I see. Yes, because it contributes to the FIFA rankings.
Okay.
So that is why they wish to go further into that. So maybe the consequences after this is, touch wood, decrease in points, reduction in points.
Okay. Is that genuine though?
Pardon?
Is that genuine though? If like, let's say it does contribute to points and everything, but the trajectory or the move, the effort that we're going into, do you think that's like a proper way to do so?
Is it like a knee-jerk thing?
Meaning
For the investigation and having to have like that sort of effect.
If I may say, FIFA, the judicial bodies under Article 30, they can investigate, they can prosecute, and they can decide. So at this point, when they say that they want to investigate, so it's within their powers.
Farah, we go back to you. But have you actually noticed any differences in how our local media actually cover this? Of course, you're going to be a bit biased, like the way we portray this versus international portrayal of the current scenario.
I would say that our local media dives deeper into it. For example, we can take a 4-paragraph statement and turn it into 3 separate stories. If you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's what I mean by it. And also like we do come down hard on our own like situation at the moment, because I know that when I speak to the other reporters, they feel cheated. A lot of them are like, oh, I feel very cheated right now. I don't really want to talk to them because they kind of lied to my face and they said that, there was nothing wrong here. There was no wrongdoings here. But then at the end of the day, it's like we were caught with our pants down kind of thing. So, yeah. But the international press, I see that they're only just they're just scratching the surface, basically, of like, say, a motivated decision came out, they just took the spicy things from it, and then...
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked is just I want to understand if whether or not there were any discrepancies that were being reported here locally versus overseas. Maybe the international media is like fully backing FIFA. Not to say that Malaysia is not pushing for FAM to be more accountable, but just, sometimes it would be nice to have some room for for our local sort of like authority or bodies to react a certain way.
I think because within our locals as well, like even the other day, I saw some misreporting as well. So on our local front,
which
was basically like in the decision, it did say like FIFA. Okay, first and foremost, I think everyone has to understand that FIFA makes suggestions. They don't like tell you, oh, this is what you need to do, that kind of stuff. They just make suggestions. Like at the end of it, you'll find it. One of it was like, one report was saying like, oh, FIFA has already flagged authorities in so and so and so and so and so countries. They didn't. They suggested for authorities to be flagged. There's a difference. It's not to say that FIFA, it's in their jurisdiction to be calling up like Spanish police or like Argentinian police or whatever and say, hey, look, I want to report a crime.
Dia macam Interpol.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they don't.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So I saw like some people were reporting, someone was saying FIFA has already flagged authorities in these countries, including Malaysia.
No, because it does make even myself, orang yang macam blur gila kadang-kadang, macam we will ask like, wait, to what extent does FIFA's jurisdiction actually extends to? Like, are they the jury, judge, executioner? Maybe to clarify.
I think he answered that just now.
They are in a sense.
Okay.
But I just out of curiosity again, because speaking about players, these 7 players, to what extent should the 7 players themselves be held accountable if they were aware or unaware of irregularities in the eligibility process?
Because we rarely talk about the players' accountability.
Yeah, because we are talking about FAM, but I know we say that, yes, they are now Malaysians and we should, as Malaysians, fellow Malaysians, we should help them. But to what extent should they be held accountable? I mean,
it's a bit premature for me to comment on that because number one, we're going to CAS. But there are excerpts in the motivated decisions pertaining to their defense, wherein they had mentioned who are the ultimate beneficiaries of this case, of this forgery. So they had highlighted that it's not them. But going back to your question with regards to their accountability or how they should be held accountable, well, at the end of the day, they are being fined, number one. Number two, they are being suspended for 12 months. So I think that should, there's something that they have to answer to.
Okay, just to clarify again, in case we haven't addressed this, can you just maybe describe what CAS views as intent versus how they view intent versus negligence? How can we actually go about this?
Well, number one, intent. I think I've answered this just now, wherein it does not matter in the case of forgery. And your second question was
negligence.
Negligence, meaning in this case, the FIFA appeal committee had mentioned wherein that the act of saying I don't know, it was the documents were passed to me, and they're saying I don't understand. Well, the disciplinary the appeal committee has said that is negligence on its own. So right now, FAM, or rather the players' solicitors, have to decide how to navigate around that.
So how do solicitors actually navigate around that? Because
we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And I really am waiting to see what they actually argue, because this expands the jurisprudence of sports law in Malaysia, because I feel that it's still at a stage where it's still adolescent.
Okay.
And this is right in front of our doorstep. So all sports enthusiasts, especially those law students and young lawyers who wishes to delve into this profession, to delve into this area, I think they should really have a look at this.
I mean, because when you talk about sports and everything, the legal side, you rarely see it, right? So now when it's like airing aired out like that, so you actually look at, because it's an ecosystem at the end of the day. It's not just playing the game. You have papers, you have legality.
It's a serious thing.
Yeah. No, and I go back to the point of like turbulence in sport is indeed interesting and fun. That's why people like to watch sports, or at least football. But when you have issues such as this,
not so fun anymore lah.
It's fun for those who like drama lah, right?
It's fun for us because we get to read these decisions. You get to read all these referred cases, referred precedents. Well, it's for observers and enthusiasts, or rather lawyers. We appreciate this kind of decisions,
or at least scenarios.
Because it's well written.
Yeah.
I would say.
Anyway, but what's certain is that this particular issue is not necessarily just about public sentiment or just about performance, right? I think it really is an opportunity for us to actually just look at ourselves internally, and how can we maybe scale back on certain ambitions and have it to really look at how we can grow our grassroots. Again, as we mentioned, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this particular segment. But I do want to ask each and of our guests in terms of where their hopes lies, especially when it comes to the development of football. We go with Farah first.
The ultimate goal is always to see our team in the World Cup one day, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a very valid wish.
Yeah.
I mean, with this having played out now, what would be your hope after this? Against the backdrop of this humongous scandal, right? What would your hope be?
I'm just hoping that we don't get banned from any football or footballing activities, because the livelihood of a lot of people are at stake. Because with that, it means that we won't have a league. Then our players and coaches and all that will be out of a job. So I just hope that we don't get banned. That's it. That's the only thing I hope for.
But if you do get banned, it's just, I mean, 5 years, right? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, if we look at past cases.
I mean, the caveat, with full caveat, the FIFA appeal committee had mentioned whereby the sentence cannot go higher.
Right.
It shan't go higher.
Okay.
So right now it's probably more relevant for AFC to decide where FAM is going to be headed to.
So what are your hopes, Syed?
Right.
My hopes.
Moving forward
To see the
against
Malaysian
this-
bar play World Cup.
I mean, aside from
We do have a World Cup
aside from beating Singapore, of course, and,
again. Yes.
you know,
So hopes and dreams. That's a
That's a
difficult.
long, huh?
Yeah, that's a difficult question to ask. Whereby, 2 points. Number one, I hope to see an FAM which is more transparent. That's what I wish for on the administrative side. But on the footballing side, we have to give Peter Klomovsky his flowers, his credits. He's been doing well. And ironically, we see the scorer of the last goal against Nepal is Faisal Halim, our local boy. So
Why I'm saying, like, we should be focusing on our homegrown talents.
yeah, man.
But we can't just expect on just Faisal Halim alone or any.
yeah, but I mean, shout out to Matt Davis, Captain Matt Davis. I mean, he had contributed a lot. He was he's a heritage player, and these people do exist. Those who works hard for the badge,
Okay.
who works hard for the flag. But my wish is to see Malaysia, at its best again. That's what I wish for.
Fair. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this particular episode. If you do like this particular episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. You'll not only get NSC Beyond the Headlines update, other NSC Online's news reports will be delivered to you. Now, once again, I'd like to thank our guests on set. Farah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Syed Aiman, thank you so much for being here as well.
Thank you.
And Alina, thank you for being my co-host.
Yes, absolutely love it.
And to our audience, don't forget to also follow us on our socials. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, as well as TikTok. My name is Amalina Kamal, and we'll see you next week.